Welcome to a journey through the paradoxes of life, those curious contradictions that, while seemingly impossible, reveal profound truths about human behavior and relationships. Let's start with a paradox of self-reflection. The more you hate a trait in someone else, the more likely you are avoiding it in yourself. Carl Jung called this projection, a mirror reflecting our own insecurities. It's a reminder that often what we criticize in others is what we fear in ourselves. Next, consider trust. People who can't trust can't be trusted. This paradox highlights the cycle of insecurity. Those who fear betrayal often sabotage their relationships first. And then there's the irony of trying to impress others. The more you try to impress people, the less impressed they'll be. Failure and success are intertwined in another paradox. The more you fail, the more likely you are to succeed. Facing fears is another curious contradiction. The more something scares you, the more you should probably do it. Life and death present their own paradox. The more afraid you are of death, the less you'll be able to enjoy life. In learning, we find another truth. The more you learn, the more you realize how little you know. In relationships, the paradox of care emerges. The less you care about others, the less you care about yourself. In our hyper-connected world, we face a new paradox. The more connected we get, the more isolated we feel. Fear of failure can become its own prophecy. The more you're afraid to fail, the more likely you are to fail. Effort and achievement also dance in paradox. The harder you push for something, the harder it will feel to achieve. Scarcity bias presents another contradiction. The more available something is, the less you will want it. In relationships again, the best way to meet someone else is to not need to be with someone else. Honesty and perception create another paradox. The more honest you are about your faults, the more people will think you're perfect. Jealousy in relationships reveals this truth. The more you try to keep someone close, the further away you'll push them. Arguments often miss their mark. The more you try to argue with someone, the less likely you are to convince them of your perspective. Choices and satisfaction reveal yet another contradiction. The more choices you have, the less satisfied you are with each one. Certainty and knowledge present their own paradox. The more convinced someone is that they're right, the less they probably know. In life's uncertainties lies this truth. The only certainty is that nothing is ever certain. Finally, we end with a simple yet profound statement. The only constant is change. Reflect on these paradoxes and how they manifest in your life. They challenge us to look deeper and embrace life's contradictions as pathways to wisdom.